couple of things here. The item C is the exercising of administrative responsibilities through the county administrator, confirming appointments and removal of all non-elected department heads. That goes right to the question that often comes up with new people, such as myself, and new commissioners is, why do we have all these items on the agenda for hires and confirming resignations and that sort of thing? So it's in the charter, but it's also in state statute.
Right.
The other things I just want to touch on here briefly is this has been helpful to me to understand the differences between county government and municipal government. Because in municipal government, this is the guideline that we always went by, and maybe you've seen this if you've served as a selectman or counselor at some area, where there's a little diagram here that kind of outlines the roles of the council and the roles of the manager or the administrator. And the council's role is heavy on goals and policy, and the manager's role is heavy on carrying out policy and dealing with personnel. The difference here is at the county level, it's kind of a blended effort for personnel. The town manager form of government usually has the exclusive power for the town manager to hire and fire. This is a more combined effort of the administrator, the department heads, and finally the commissioners with the final say. So it's been helpful for me to be able to go through these items and understand some of the differences with this. Many of the other items are adopting policies. And much of this has been done and done well over the years. One thing I'll just note is item K, to adopt policies to ensure open communications for exchanging information with municipal and other government officials and disseminating information to the public. I think this is an area where all county government struggles. You know, how do we get information out to the public? How do we communicate with the towns? How do we try to overcome any mistrust from the towns and the general public back to the county government? I haven't been able to find a written policy about this, so that may be something that comes up in the future. And if you're aware of any policies in regards to communications, that would be helpful. And the last thing I'll bring to your attention is item N, which says you need to review each policy every 5 years. And I'm working on that. I'm working to try to find the policies so we can consolidate them. Some of the charters actually require bylaws or what's called an administrative code. That's just another way of saying one catalog of all your policies. And these would be policies that are pertinent to the administration of county government, because the sheriff's office and the jail, the comm center, they also have their own set of policies and procedures. But what I'm looking at is just something pertinent to the administration of county government. So, any thoughts or comments on that?
Well,
I don't see anything that needs to be altered or changed in the charter. Like I said, this is a helpful exercise for me.
so if there's no comments or discussion on the charter, we can go to the discussion of re-election results and the register of deeds.
So I added a little sheet to your desks there that have the unofficial results. And this was essentially folks that were kind enough as town clerks to respond to my email on Tuesday and Wednesday, just to kind of give me an idea of where each of the communities ended up. But as you can see, it's pretty consistent, 64% no to 36% yes. I don't know if there was anything that we could have done differently to affect this result, because what's interesting is I pointed out, I think I sent this to you in an email, the number in Skowhegan, which was 742 yes, 1169 no. I asked Gail what the numbers were on the effort to change the road commissioner from elected to appointed, and it was 740 to 1170. So it's almost exactly the same. Mm-hmm. So fighting this perception of asking people to give up what they perceive as a voter right is very difficult to overcome. So now we're kind of back to the drawing board as to how to move forward. Looking quickly at state statute and our charter, I don't think we can drag our feet I think we have to move forward with potential candidates and caucus, so. But I'll leave it up to you because I'm sure you all have some comments on that as well.
So with that, we might want to consider going back to where we were with our register of deeds just coming in one day a month, and just to do the paperwork that needs to be done for that, and to also establish an office manager, recognizing that the whoever is caucused in as register of deeds also will need to take out papers to run. That being said, whoever we appoint or whoever is caucused in as register of deeds, they might just be caucused in as register of deeds and somebody else might want to take out papers. So that might be one of those double-edged parallel tracks that we could go on as well, to allow one person to be caucused in, and then if they don't want to take out papers, somebody else comes along to take out papers. Because it has to be elected for the 2024 is the next election cycle. And we're a nonpartisan body, so there's no primary. That means the person has from January 1st, or really January 2nd, actually, to collect signatures up until June 1st, but actually before that, because they have to get that to their town clerks to be processed to go to the state, so.
You'll be certified by
Yeah.
then, right?
When can you start taking out papers for the deeds?
The first official business day of the year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and for county commissioners as well, because I'm up, you're up. It's an election year for us, should we decide to run. And I believe Judge of Probate's term is up, and I also think that the Registrar of Probate's term is up.
So ultimately, even though we don't have, it's up to the voters who this person ends up being after the caucus situation, but ultimately the best case scenario would be is to caucus in somebody, because whoever gets caucused in, they're gonna require training.
Well, that's why we're going to do a pre-caucus. We'll alert all the municipal officers that will be attending the caucus, that, and the municipalities, that while we are setting up a time, and we'll also ask them for a good time for them, that they have in mind a person that may want to do this. I've already found somebody who's interested. They want to do it the way that we had done it previously, where the Register of Deeds came in for one day a month and received a stipend. They don't want to do it as a full-time position and would not pursue that as a full-time position. So that would be one of the ways that's.
So you would have the elected Register of Deeds and then a separate position, as opposed to the same person holding both positions. Then at that point in time, you're looking, then we would be looking for a hired position of I think you mentioned, was it an office manager? Would be
That's
the
one
actual
thing.
title?
I'm going to ask that we do after our workshop, when we come down to new agenda items, that we post, we add to the agenda, motion to post for an office manager for the Register of Deeds, for the Deeds office.
And that office manager, part of their responsibility is going to be
Managing the office,
the
basically.
deeds.
Yeah.
Not as just a general office manager, but they're gonna need to be
They'll be
trained in
specific,
deeds.
Yeah, head us up to get our electronic deeds,
Yeah.
which we've been needing for a long time.
Well, that's something that we would be able to hire and put in place.
So the only elected position would be basically the
The register of deeds, the elected position,
It
which would
basically
be,
just oversees the,
which would be a part-time position on a stipend.
okay.
So if I might add, the priorities would need to be, and I agree with the chair, the priority needs to be stabilization of the office so that what we offer to the public is the best it can be. And right now, Arlene is doing a great job as the deputy, but she was not trained on many of the other aspects of the job, and we've been trying to get her up to speed while she's, in that deputy position. So that office manager person would be an important hire, somebody that would understand the financial aspects of it, balancing the statements on a monthly basis, and being able to track, especially now with the online, being able to track those transactions and those money transactions as they come through the online process, because that is an essential part of the process. And so when you have someone that's an office manager, they have to be on the same page as whomever is elected as the Register of Deeds, because that Register of Deeds is coming in once a month, signing off saying, these numbers are right, but she or he has to rely on that office manager day-to-day operations to make sure those numbers are right. So I think that's the best approach, is to get a strong candidate in there for an office manager and then let the caucus proceed with the register.
Who sets the pay scale for the elected
We do.
Register of Deeds?
We do. Right now, it had been $5,000 a year. I would propose $6,000 a year, because that would make it $500 a month, instead of, $450 a month, something like that. So, and in this day and age, the $6,000 is probably worth it for somebody to travel back and forth and take that day and time. Seems like a lot of money for one day, but
So this would have to be clearly delineated to the public so that they know that they're not coming in here for a 40-hour-a-week position.
Right,
Or
right.
more than what you're talking about. And the other question I have is, because, and I know that the office manager helped us get up to speed and get this electronic base going, is one day a month going to be enough for that individual to do what they have to do based upon all of the new technology and everything that is done?
So you're talking about the office manager or the?
No,
The register.
Coming in once a month or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So according to state statute, that Register of Deeds is required to do, they're required to account monthly to the county treasurer for all the fees received for them and all that they paid out. Then they have to, by the 15th of the month, provide that in writing to the treasurer. They are required to make copies, and they can do that through their deputies. And then they are required to send out deed information to the assessors of the appropriate municipality, and they can do that through their deputies. So in state statute, if you're just looking for that one person to do that, they would not be required to handle so much of the technology as the office manager and the deputies.
okay. Any other discussion on election results? And Register of Deeds? And seeing none, going forward to new agenda items, I'd like to entertain a motion to to be placed on the agenda to advertise for an office manager for the Register of Deeds.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? No opposition? So that will be on the agenda for resolution, what resolution do we want to make that?
237.
237. All right. And very good, thank you. Finance reporting.
Oh, hold on, because I got one more thing for
Oh.
the agenda.
Oh, okay.
We'll discuss. In lieu of the fact that you all know that we're running about 50% in terms of our patrol, because we just lost 2 more deputies. I've been giving this some thought way beyond that, and I would like to see us discuss and possibly put on the agenda the ability to implement full lateral transfer for experienced, long-time law enforcement officials that are elsewhere that might want to come to the county to try to help stop this bleeding, because we're hurting, and I am concerned about the safety of our deputies. I am concerned about the safety of our members in our community, because we're at 50%. And I just think that this may be a way to move forward and quicken the hiring process. A lot of other agencies right now, as I've researched and looked into, are doing this to obtain good law enforcement officials. The other reason why I feel that this is important is, yes, we can hire people right from the beginning, you know, that don't have any training at all, but we're looking at a year before they're able to be in the cruiser. Even the 2 that we have right now.
6 months
Are going to
anyway,
be late
yeah.
summer into fall before we move. So I really feel like this is something that we need to look at immediately and decide what we can do to help move forward and get these positions filled before something majorly catastrophic happens in terms of our sheriff's office and our patrol. And I would like to see that put on an agenda on the agenda to discuss and really, if we have to move it back to the workshop, I don't know if we can do that, but
Well, we'll do that on the workshop in the next meeting, but at this point, I would first ask the sheriff if he had the input as the full lateral transfer. Don't you do something like that already?
No. We are, I have been working with the FOP. I do have a document for you to review. Apparently, what a lot of law enforcement agencies are doing are, because there's a limited amount of law enforcement officers in this state right now, that they're accepting officers at their rate of pay. So if they had years of experience, so if you had 5 years of experience, we'd hire you we would pay you at 5 years and give you vacation. That would correlate with that. It's my understanding that a lot of agencies are doing that now.
Hadn't we discussed that earlier?
We have.
We-
We haven't spoken. We haven't done anything in a formal setting.
No, I know, I said we haven't given any tentative.
We did approve an MOU with the corrections officers to do the lateral exchange.
Yeah,
But not
okay.
the sheriff.
Yes, that's.
Okay, that's what,
This would sort of emulate what we're doing in
Yeah.
corrections.
You have to work with the union on that, do you?
Yeah, and I have documents for you, for the chair, if you all decide to, that's something that you're willing to accept, for the chair to sign.
is that something you have now?
Yes, sir.
So we could put that on the agenda
Yes.
for today.
Yes, sir.
Then why don't you make a motion to add to the agenda 238, resolution of, what's the MOU?
It's an MOA between the sheriff's office and the FOP Lodge 13 and the county commissioners I'm trying to find the right language here, that we will, members, that newly hired sheriff's office employees will be able to have their pay adjusted to the credible full-time law law enforcement years' experience, not to include the longevity stipend, the newly hired sheriff's office employees will be credited full-time law enforcement years of experience, up to 10 years.
Okay, so why don't you just make the resolution to be lateral transfer for
Make motion that we add to the agenda resolution
238,
for lateral transfer.
yeah, for the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion, further discussion on that?
Did you get a second? Did that?
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, we'll move forward with that later. And any other new agenda items to come before us at this moment? Seeing none? Now, finance reporting.
I included in your packet the October, end of October actions. All departments are in line or better than budget, so we have no issues at the current time. Even our electricity and oil, heating oil lines are in the positive. So. As long as we have vacancies.
Yeah. That's a hard way to save money.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or discussions for finance? Seeing none, administrative report.
So you have my bullet points in your packet there. I'll just touch on a couple of things. I've been drafting an energy conservation strategy for county property, and this is an exercise required if we were to apply to funds through the Federal Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant. Hopefully by the first meeting in December, I should have a draft of that strategy for you to review, along with updates on our solar options. Also, at the next meeting, there should be an update on the proposed corridor TIF up in the UT. The applications for the Community Benefit Matching Grant Program are coming in. The due date for that is Monday, the 20th at 4. After that, applications will be sent to the scoring committee to review. And the new compressor is installed at the fire suppression system here at the courthouse. So, that's all I got, unless you have questions.
No, just a comment. I don't know if you had seen the Bangor Daily News report regarding Pine Tree Solar, a company out of Herman that has been reneging on its contracts for solar, installing solar. And you see that? Did you see that? No, so when we're looking for solar providers for developing solar, we do a deep look at who they are and what they're doing and their finances.
Who's the contractor for the fire suppression?
Eastern Fire?
Eastern,
Does that
yes.
sound right? Yeah.
They're kind of the only game in the state.
You've got
There's one other,
Maine Fire out of Bangor.
yeah.
It is on the other Joel.
So, anyway, thank you. Department heads, sheriff.
Major Pike's not here today. He's burying his father, retired Sheriff Dennis Pike, who gave 47 years of service, so thank you for his service. But we presently are housing 63 feds. We contract for 35. We're housing 23 Penobscot. We contract for 15. The patrol had 357 calls for service last week. And as you saw in the paper that while attempting to execute a drug search warrant, we've lost We didn't sustain $20,000 worth of damage to 2 vehicles, and we had 2 deputies injured. So I want to make you aware of that. And before we meet again, I think it's the 22nd, I have a meeting with the select people in St. Albans, and on the 27th, I have a meeting with the selectmen in Madison, for police and services. That's what I have.
Thank you. Chief?
We have several people in the pipeline right now that, not as many as I wish we did, but we have several that we're looking at, going through testing processes for potential employees as deputy sheriffs, brand new kids. We're going through that process, it'll take a couple of months. But by the time we get one of them out on their own, I'm looking at August, September next year.
Next year, not this, next year being 2024.
2024, by
Yeah.
the time that they're out on their own,
Yeah.
it'll be August,
So-
September next year.
9 months out.
This is just a visual, I don't want you, when we have our conversation, I apologize, Sheriff.
That's okay, no, thank you.
It's a visual. We can talk about it.
This is very helpful, thank you.
Okay. Oh. So you really have 4 vacancies to fill before you can get to your budgeted open and opens.
So, we have a complement of 19, that's for patrol, in the patrol division. That is, it's run by a patrol commander, the lieutenant. We have, from that, we have 3 shifts. Where I wanted to go is that each shift would have 4 individuals with 3 of that complement, which would be 1 each shift would be assigned to Madison. That's pass-through money. So really, at the end of the day, you have a sergeant and 3 deputies to answer the volume of calls that we have. And I can tell you that in some of the exit interviews, you know, and I report to you what we have for calls for service. And we got there because of a myriad of reasons, but one in part because of the state police reorganization, which, I mean, we're fighting, and we'll hear about it in this upcoming legislative session of LD 630, to be able to take care of that need outside of property tax. But that's not here right now. So the 2 issues that we've been hearing is just the volume of work and the schedule. Until I can get more people, there's not much you can do for the schedule. But so the chief has been working hard. We do have these 4 new, we call them hires, but they're not actually hires. Well, they are hires, but they have to do a whole process. So to become a deputy sheriff, you have to have a physical, you have to have a psychological, you have to go through a background check. And then you need, I think it's over 400 hours of FTO training before you can even be on your own. So that all takes time, and a lot of that is state of Maine mandates, that's how it's driven. So the first one you see, I mean, what you see the little G behind them, that means that they're a green pin. We expect 2 of these people to be going to the academy in January. And we have one is a green pin that won't make it into this January academy then, but we would be able to at least get him on the road. The problem is that a green pin, which we refer to as a green pin, but is known as a reserve officer, is limited in what they can do. At the end of the day, the state of Maine is moving away from reserve officers. They don't like, I don't want to say they don't like, but they discourage the building of reserve officers. So a reserve officer, green pinner, cannot handle a motor vehicle, personal injury motor vehicle crash, cannot handle an aggravated assault. So it limits their ability, but it would give us some, this individual, once they get through over the 400 hours of FTO, field training, we'll be able to utilize them in a limited capacity. So with that, we have in total, we have the 8 openings. This will satisfy 4. We need to get 4 more. I'm in hopes that if the commission agrees to this, that we will have more interest. We have been told, and what you're told and what is reality can be sometimes different, that some people don't want to come here if they got to start right from the beginning again. And that seems to be a universal theme through all law enforcement in Maine right now.
It's an understandable position for somebody who wants to move somewhere.
Right, so this I gave you, it's not to be spread around, because these names are just placeholders, but I felt it was important that I give you a visual of where we're at. The cops fast, we were awarded that position. As you can see, that's outside of those complement. That position is going to be, that's an optimistic statement, is going to be used for. We need to be going around to schools, helping them with their safety plans, and that's how that grant was written. The second, so that was bifurcated in the grant. The first part of that, again, was with the emphasis on the school and the developing of the safety plans and building those relationships. The second part of that, we get inundated, especially in the summertime, with you're driving 100 miles an hour on a road. We get speeding complaints every day. But as you can see, with the officers, the deputies assigned before, we don't have an overabundance of deputies or discretionary time when you're handling over 300 calls or close to 400 calls a week. You're just running. Because every call you go on generates a report. So not only do you have the actual time that it does to do the service, you can add that time again, if not more, generating a report. That's, I just wanted to give you a snapshot of where we're at. If there was a report done several years ago, I think in 2015, that this county should have, or the national standard was 2 deputies per 1,000. So take away 2 Fairfield and take away Skowhegan, say the population is 15, we're a county of 54,000, you would have about 25,000 or 27,000 that we actually police or are responsible for, even though we do augment Fairfield and Skowhegan from time to time, you would need close to 50 deputies.
How does Pittsfield play in that? They have a police department.
So their population, I stand corrected. But there's a lot of I'll leave it at that, yes, Pittsfield, but, you know, 19 is, if we were fully complement, we would still be stretched thin. But it is, I mean, we have been working together to try to do the right thing. So, and it can't happen overnight, we know that. And I'm hoping, though, it's gonna get, it's complicated, LD 630. Because we do have to police correctly. And we're going to need more help than keep going back to the property tax payment, if that makes sense.
Right.
So this chart right here, I've been working on, just to give you an idea of where we're at.
Good, thank you. Joel?
So you've probably given this some thought too. A concern that comes to mind right away, how, if we move forward with this and you're hiring people at a higher rate based on what they're currently getting, how will this affect the folks that we already have employed?
So great question, because that is a concern, and you are correct. The FOP would be on us like bee on a honey. We have one deputy that has to be made whole, and that has a fiscal note of around $6,000, but everyone else is where they're supposed to be.
That's better news than I thought I was going to get.
No, we tried to do this once at corrections, it became a insurmountable hurdle because of that, the way that you frame your question. But we knew that this question would be coming. We asked the FOP, I asked the FOP, can you give me who's going to have to be made whole? Once I had those people that came to us from another agency, that had time from another agency, working with Patrick and Patrick's godsend, but we were able to, only one deputy, and we're able to identify that cost. And I told you what that cost is.
Okay, thank you.
That 6,000, was that a one-time cost, or is that gonna be added to the budget?
It's gotta be
Annual wages.
Yeah, so the 6,000 makes him whole.
Yeah.
It puts him in line with the years of service that he has. Then it becomes a budget item as part of payroll, because he will be in that,
Right.
in that pay scale.
This deputy came to you guys with years of experience before he got here and didn't have that come with him, correct?
Correct.
Right.
And with your resolution, we'll be able to go quicker.
Yep.
He'll make that quicker. Now, the other question that I have is not about personnel, but it's something that does affect personnel. We had a couple of damaged cruisers because of the chase.
Yeah, so we have one car that sustained a brand new car.
Of course.
$13,000, and we had, and both cars were the newer ones of the fleet, and the one truck that we had sustained $7,000 worth of damage. It doesn't take much to rack up costs now in damage, but the 13,000, it was rammed several times by this guy, and it shows.
So, obviously, we're covered by insurance, and we can go after him, but
Sure, you can go after it.
for what that's worth, but
I'll refrain.
the
Make
thing
more money
on
now.
that is, excuse my tongue in cheek, but the thing about that is, do we have vehicles available?
So, our fleet is aging. We have cars on order.
Yeah.
Wherever the good Lord knows where those are, but, and we are going to get by. But
Okay.
the fleet is, the spares are being used, and for this new detective's position, a car came up. It was budgeted. We got that car so that I wouldn't lose it. And that car isn't even assigned to the new detective because we haven't hired him. We can't hire him till January. But we're using that car
Yeah.
because the other one is damaged so severely inoperable. The truck at least was operable.
So there's no projected time when you get these cruisers?
No, so Ford just came off strike.
Yeah.
So my question is, why are we waiting? There's other places we can get these cruisers. We're down cruisers, we're down people. Let's move on it. And not listen to, you'll get them when you get them all the time. Let's move on it. Let's get these cruisers here, maybe a little bit more. We've got the money for them. They can land in our parking lot fully ready to go. I don't know why we wait.
I will get you an answer to that.
Yes, Patrick?
Just FYI, we're getting close to budget season. With this change, any openings, I will have to budget them at the highest rate. So it will have an impact on budget year over year.
Yeah. No, that's a good word to the wise, thank you. Okay. Any other questions or comments, concerns? Okay. Moving along to Pavel.
So today, Minutemen, they began the process of installing the cameras at the jail. So that's the first day today. I'm still continue working on EOC building for upgrading IT infrastructure there with the firewalls and new features. We're working daily, as I mentioned, like every other week on the cybersecurity. So that's basically daily work for our team to make patches, upgrades, so that's daily work on cybersecurity. And also we are reassessing internet needs at each site. We may have to upgrade our internet speeds at few sites.
What will it take to upgrade the speeds at the internet sites?
The internet, we just get the quotes from multiple vendors, and once get this approved, within probably a month, we may get it.
What are we using now at those sites? Is it DS?
It's cable.
It's mostly cable through
Oh.
Beeline.
Okay,
So we're looking for the fiber options.
yeah, okay. Very good, thank you. Anything else?
That's all.
Any questions? No. Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dave, UT.
We've got a couple things going on right now. The arbitration with Kingsbury and the Salt Shed in Brighton is in 2 weeks. We have our arbitration online, basically. The FEMA request, we have reimbursement for damage from the May 1st storm. All paperwork's in and signed. We're kind of hung up on one issue. That is the gravel pit that the gravel came from to do the repairs is not showing up as licensed by the state. It should be by LUPC. They have no record of it. And environmental protection at the state level. They don't do UTs, but I checked with them, they don't have any records either. So we are trying to get it approved after use. So that's what Phil Curtis is working on right now with Gary Dunphy of Woodpecker Logging. So as soon as we can get that after the fact, I think FEMA will accept that. but I'm not sure time-wise on where we stand there. The other thing I'm working on are snowmobile grants. They're all due in Augusta. I have to process them, combine them, and send them to Augusta by the end of the month. And I still got 2 outstanding, but I've got 5 so far.
Okay, any questions or comments? All set? We're done, thank you. Okay, so there's no unfinished business. Didn't miss anybody, did I? No, we're all. And that would be new business, resolution 23-228, to accept the FY '23 COPS hiring program grant in the amount of $125,000.
So move.
Second.
And, discussion?
Yeah. Is there, this paper that we have here, does it, just a contract?
What's that?
Just,
No, it's just a letter of acceptance.
okay,
It's just the award letter, yeah.
is it just a one-year thing? Is that what it is? Or-
So the COPS Fast is it's on a 4-year.
4-year?
And it's on a declining scale on there. What it does is it really softens the fiscal impact. They pay, I think, 75% the first year, 50% the second year. Third year is 25%, and then the county is responsible in the 4th year.
Okay, so we're looking at 3 years, it's a 3-year grant where we pick up on the 4th at the end of the 3 years, okay.
But, and they, with the wage increase and everything, will be done in 125,000 for probably 2 years.
Of course, because of the new wage increase that we're projecting, yeah. Thank you. Any other questions or discussion on the COPS? All in favor? Resolution 23-229 to accept the following resignations from the Somerset County Jail. Shift Commander Sergeant Charles Poissonier, excuse me if I mispronounce the names. Corrections Officer in Training Megan Hopkins and Casey Inman.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Let's go. Resolution 23-230 to approve Commissioner's mileage reimbursement.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? And 23-231 to reserve the addition, to reverse the addition of a sick leave bank policy originally approved on October 5th, 2022.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, explain that.
Explain it.
So if I may, at the last meeting when we were workshopping policy,
Right.
personnel policy, I showed you a copy of language that was submitted to the commissioners last October to create a sick leave bank that utilized sick leave hours left over from people who had left the county. And there's a couple of issues with that. One, that language, even though it was approved at that October meeting, it never made it into the personnel policy. So the personnel policy that we've issued to people since January didn't contain that language. The second part is, I was concerned about liability, and I'd never seen a policy like that before. So I called Peter Marchese and asked him if he had reviewed this, and he could not remember reviewing that language. So I talked with Mike Pike, and he couldn't really remember, and Leanne had just started, but for whatever reason, it never got formalized into the policy. And so at the last meeting, we were discussing this, one of the commissioners mentioned that we probably should just officially reverse that policy so it doesn't get kind of left out there in the gray. So now we still have sick time donation in our policies, where people can, that are active employees, can donate their sick time to someone that may be in need of it. But no one, I wasn't comfortable, and Peter Marchese wasn't comfortable with keeping hours on the books after somebody leaves, so.
Further discussion, comments? All in favor? All reversed. Resolution 23-232 to approve the hiring of Corporal Alexander Roy for intake supervisor at Somerset County Jail.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Okay, all in favor. And resolution 23-233 to accept the resignation of Isaac Rakeham from the Somerset County Sheriff's Office.
Although I don't want to, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thanks, Sip. Discussion? All in favor? So go. Resolution 23-234 to authorize the posting of a job opening for a full-time sheriff's deputy.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Okay. No unorganized territory warrants. Resolution 23-236 to approve the treasurer's warrant for general fund, Somerset County Jail, and unorganized territory in a total amount of $642,792.95.
I think we need to deal with the two
Need to go back.
resolutions you added to the agenda.
Well,
No, those are after, that's 236, then we have 237, and then we have 238.
we'll do those after, but was there, okay, why don't you finish this, but I think you missed the capital reserve one,
Yes.
so.
Oh, I did miss the capital reserve, yeah, we'll get back to that one.
Well,
We'll do this one first, because
Okay, you've got it on the table.
I got it on the table.
there you go.
So, and then discussion. All in favor? Capital reserve expenditures, resolution 23-235 to approve the purchase of a 2023 transit cargo van for the Somerset County Jail.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. It finally came.
Well, actually, it didn't. This is from another lot. They still hadn't started to build ours yet. This came up. It isn't exactly what we wanted. It wasn't the traditional white. It's going to be black, but it came available, and I thought I'd better grab it while I can.
Very good, yeah. It's been a while. We've been waiting for this.
Longer than a while.
Yeah, for years, yeah. Well, very good.
No, you are correct. This was, I think, this was first approved in a 2021 budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. We've been waiting for this for forever.
Yeah, right. That's a Maine term.
So anyway, any further discussion? All in favor? Actually, I have a question about that. The one that was being built for us, did we want to budget for that too?
I think
How do you want to
we did budget. So we have 3 vans up there, 3 or 4 of them, I'm not sure, but they're all aged out. I think we did have, I'll get you that answer.
Yeah.
I think we're budgeted for another van.
Because I was going to say, if we still have that one in the pipeline, we might want to capture that when it's ready, if it's still in our name.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that and get back to you.
Yeah.
I think we did say to keep it coming.
Yeah.
Because I believe we are budgeted for another van.
The capital line is right around 96,000, so this is gonna eat up most of it, but that doesn't mean you can't put in the additional funds needed in this coming budget.
But
Right, yeah.
if it even arrives.
Well, there's that, then there's that.
After this budget.
We end up using those vans as patrol vehicles if we don't watch out.
Please.
Happy life.
So, okay, so thank you. All right, so we're on, we've approved this transit van. And now we're on to resolution 237, the office manager for Register of Deeds, posting of the position of office manager.
So,
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? So go. And then for resolution 23-238, an MOA with the sheriffs and the FLP.
So move.
Second, is there a second?
Second.
Got a second from Sip. Discussion? All in favor?
Well, does it look like they're gonna go along with it?
The FOP? Yeah, so I've had about 2 or 3 meetings with them about this. And this is the agreement that we both came to an agreement in. And I'm sure the county administrator will provide you a copy once the chair reads it and signs. I mean, I know he will. But yes, there has been conversations, and it is limited to the 10 years, but that's our top pay anyway. And we did not add any stipends to go along with that. No retroactive payments or accruals, no retroactive of that. It's moving forward. There was only one deputy that we had to make whole.
Yeah.
And that was for payroll, not for vacation or sick.
Let's hope this works.
Yeah, if I can get a couple, and here's the dirty secret, is that if I get a blue pen, which I'll be more than happy to accept, someone else is going to be without.
To lose one, yeah.
That's what's been going on with you for 5 years.
Yeah.
I've never, in my 50 years, I've never seen anything like this.
And this is not just statewide, it's nationwide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. Yeah. Okay, with that, any further discussion or comments? All in favor? Very good. And I am down to P, miscellaneous discussion items, commissioners only.
I got a question for the sheriff. It's an easy one. Unorganized territory deputy, how's he holding up?
Doing very well. I require each patrol sergeant every week to give me a weekly report of the highlights of their activity. And he's been in Forest Hill High School several times. He actually participated in a trunk or treat up in the Jackman area. We have had a bump during the summer, but that's, in my opinion, been resolved. But I think he's fitting very well into the community. We are planning for the solar eclipse where he's attending those meetings, and he's really intertwining himself with the community, which though Jackman,
That's scary, you know.
Though Jackman is not a UT.
No.
Our substation is there. We've made it quite clear that we want him in the Forks, and we want him in Rockwood, and patrolling those areas, which he has.
Yeah.
He takes
It's a pretty easy ride to go through Rockwood and hit Jackman.
Especially when your co-pilot sucks.
Thank you.
Editorials aside. There's no executive session, so if there's no further miscellaneous discussion items, Scott? Joel? I have none. Or we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Like, yes. All in favor may go. All opposed may stay.
Got to sign first.
I know, we gotta sign it first.
Hi, Cindy. Joel Steck is calling you back. Excellent. Pretty good. That's great.
I'll sign this.
Okay.
Thank you. Read this and sign it.
You know, they had 192 deer tags in Athens.
Yeah.
That's a lot, only 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, my plan was to just, Becky and I go through the numbers and start writing the checks and be done. I mean, there's no decisions to be made, it's all
You didn't hear
decisions have
today?
been made, so.
No, I didn't, maybe I'm deaf in my left ear, maybe I was trying.
No, I got mine this morning.
Oh, you did?
7 o'clock, my second.
Sure, I can call.
Your second one?
Yeah, I did it about 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
Go
Yeah.
today.
Either do
You
I.
like deer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get this, I get this.
Okay,
What I do is I get the tenderloins and the back straps, and then the rest of it I put Italian
Great, thank you.
sausage.
Oh,
And I
and
mix
then,
pork with it, because my wife cooks spaghetti sauce and stuff with it. And it's really good. I was amazed how good it was.
yeah, so, I was talking with him, and he was saying, I just hadn't heard that much, and I said, he goes, every day, he does 4 days.
Well, my guy in Oakland had surgery, so he couldn't do it this year. Bill's meat cutting on High Street
Yeah.
there. So I had to, brought both mine to Parkman,
People can be so frustrated.
just across
You
the
think?
town.
No, I know where that is,
Yeah.
it's up on
Don't say
the
no.
left-hand side.
No, you go through, I can't think of the name of the town now.
You have Ripley, it goes to Parkman, to go to Foxborough.
No, when you leave,
Guilford.
no, our town, the last one in Somerset County is,
On 150?
Yeah.
It's Ripley.
no, starts with a C. You go around a shack corner,
Where?
huh? I can't even think of it. Anyway,
That's embarrassing.
when you hit the Scotticoke county line, it's like quarter of a mile on the road. Yeah. Yeah, he does a bang-up job. He measures everyone and vacuum seals them, 1 pound packages.
Private?
No, he's a meat cutter. I mean, he advertises meat cutting.
how does he charge by the pound or by the?
He has a $130 base charge.
Yep,
And then if you want, I got pork with when I had my sausage made.
Yep.
And we charge you 65 cents a pound for that. I think I paid $170 last, when I had my other deal.
yep, well, it's not terrible.